Alright, this has been the proverbial dream team for a while for a lot of people. This is the FiiO E09K, the new one, and the FiiO E17. And this is a portable headphone amp and DAC. It takes a SPDIF in, takes a USB in, has an auxiliary in, so you could just jump your phone out to this even if your phone doesn't have a DAC output. And it's got a headphone out, and it's got this low bypass switch, which I haven't touched, because it takes like a pin. And you turn it on, it lights up. It says FiiO, and then it has, several dozen options. You have bass, balance, gain, treble, system, memory volume on, max volume, sleep, USB charge on, some gain options. I think I'm going around and saying shit over and over again. Alright. And it works as a headphone amp. It works pretty well for a portable one. I used it, I was using it just on my computer without being plugged in, and I got about 10 to 14 out, 10 to 12 hours out of it. I wasn't paying enough attention to really give you a solid number. I mean, it's not super thick. It's not thin. It's certainly thicker than any phone you're going to have. If they would have spread it out a little bit more, it might be more usable. You get to choose the input up here in the front, coax, optical, auxiliary, and USB. So actually the SPDIF in is both a coaxial receiver and a SPDIF optical receiver, which is nice. You can't get many more features than that as far as inputs go on something like this. And on its own, it's very, very good. The DAC works all right. I don't love the DAC, but it works all right. And it's about $130. I don't know. Check. I don't know. But yeah, it's got this beautiful little screen. It tells you what the kilohertz rate, bit rate. You can set it to shut off. And then you have this, which is the E09K desktop dock. And this powers in the wall. You can take the USB input. Not for this thing on its own. That dock is only to dock this into it. It's got the high-low gain. It's got pre-outs, line-outs, and auxiliary ins. Now, I got this. I love breakfast cereal. I like breakfast cereal. Sent me both of these. And this arrived first. So when this arrived first, I took my ODAC and I unplugged it from my SMSL SAP2 headphone amp. I plugged it straight into the auxiliary in, flipped that to auxiliary in, and then I was just using this to power my headphones, my HE300s. And I've never heard a better headphone amp than this one. And I don't like to like new things. See, that's the difference. I don't have this expectation bias where it's like, oh man, it's gonna be great. I spent $100. Oh, it sounds great. I don't want things to be good, because that means the stuff I currently have is bad. So I usually just say, oh, that new things, that's shit. I like old things. So this is a new thing, and I was smitten by how good it was. Like if there was steps, a full step above my SAP2 and even the O2 as far as whatever it's doing in here, just as a pure headphone amp. Just as a $100, forget this exists, forget this USB. Actually, I don't think you can use the line outs. I'm not even sure right now. I'm going to figure it out later. But what comes out of this 1/4 inch jack is like, it's religious. It's religious what comes out of there. And I'm going to try to describe it now poorly. Where I was literally going, because I had I have the ODAC with RCA and 3.5mm out. So I send the 3.5mm out to my SAP2, which is how I usually do it, or I do RCA. I did the RCAs out to this. So I had the DAC feeding both headphone amps simultaneously. So I was able to take my headphones, I had the two plug from one to the other, and I adjusted the volume so they were exactly the same. And I did that for 45 minutes to an hour, because I couldn't believe the difference of what this did to it. And when I brought this here instead of my house, I was sort of upset, because then I'm just stuck with the SAP2. And that sucks to say, because I love my SAP2. And for $60, it works really good. But whatever this is doing, it's just fairy dust. It's got incredible Here's how I define what an amp should do and what it should do well. Channel separation, and there should be a depth. There should be a fake... I don't know how you'd even... I know someone's going to come on and be like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. You can't define that with math. And maybe you can't. But the actual things sounding... The simulation of things being far away and close, and, you know, in a 3D space, is improved 50% on this over my SAP 2. 50 whole percent. And I don't understand. I had the same DAC, same outputs, they're just different forms, and I was just back and forth, and it just sounds better. And I don't know what's doing it. Maybe there's completely mono block of left and right inside here. I don't think there is, but maybe there is. Fucking blue! Ugh! Why can't you just stay in startup red forever? Ah, like a professional. Ah! Okay. I can live with the blue. I can live with the blue LED because look at it from an angle. It comes out straight like a laser beam. As long as you're not looking right at it, it's pretty dim. It also is hard to see if you're like that. Is that amp on? I don't know. Oh, yes, it is. And I was using so little. I was like, from here was just audible on my headphones, on my HE300s and my NVXs, and then that was loud. And I don't think I ever got that high. So it was like here to there, and that's on low gain. On high gain, which I did use for a while, I kept it, you know, obviously like here. I didn't notice any usable distortion. Nothing. It wasn't kicking the amp up into hyperdrive mode and ruining the sound. So I talked about this. I said it's very good for a portable headphone amp. I had my little cow on. There's my little cow on. I had my cow on plugged in with this wire. Is this a cute little wire? One. Two. Button my shoe. There. So I had it like this, and it does improve the output of my cow on. My cow on's not bad, but I really can't push those HE300s, which I was wandering around with in the kitchen. With this, it could push it, easily push it. But let's get to the crux of the matter. This is not as good as an ODAC, because when you pop it in here, and the USB's plugged in, which since I unplugged it, and probably freaked out the computer, then it uses this DAC to power this. So now you have either the auxiliary in or the dock in. This is the dock. Now, there's several things that are fucked up about this entire system. One, the DAC doesn't sound that good. All right, compared to an ODAC, compared to my XDA2 up there, compared to... Actually, did I compare it to any other ones? I think those are the only two I actually plugged into it. But compared to those two, granted that one's $200, but it's a massive unit. And the ODAC was $140. This one, which is just slightly less than that, but it's more features, doesn't sound as good. FiiO has a real issue with its DACs. It actually, I think the DAC in the E10K might be as good, maybe a little better. I don't know. I'm not going to focus on that. See, that's a K. Here's the thing. This is an E09K. This is the new revision is Ks, and this is not a K. It's just an E17. So maybe if the E17K comes out, the DAC will improve. So if you're going to buy something, don't think about having to buy this. Think about just having to buy this, and then you get whatever DAC you want. SMSL, SAP... No, SMSL SD793 would work. It's a SPDIF DAC. An ODAC, you can get a shit Madi, any DAC but this one. Unless you are going to take this every day, use it for your phone to power it, and then come back and drop it in here, there's no need to buy this. Just buy this. Now let me tell you about the wonderful features this has, and by wonderful features I mean what the fuck are you doing, FiiO? In the options here, bass, balance, gain, right, normal stuff. USB charge, sleep, max volume, memory volume. Here's what has to happen. No, get out of this. See the volume? USB 50. Now I'm counting up to 60. This volume on this unit affects the headphone out on this unit. So if you have the volume on this all the way down, let's assume that you're plugged in, and it doesn't matter if it's USB or whatever input, you're at 20. You take it off your phone, you plug it in this, and you go to put this up. All of a sudden, you're turning it way up, and it's because this is down. So then you have to go and manually turn this all the way up, like this, exactly this fast, all the way to full 60. You at 60 yet? Okay. And now you'll get, as if you were using line in to the back, you'll get that sort of volume. Almost. Almost. You got to go in here, and you got to go to memory. And you got to go to menu, and you got to go to gain. And in the gain, you get a choice of 0, 6, or 12 decibel boost. I assume it's boost. It doesn't say gain boost. It just says gain. And on 0, again, it's quiet. It's also quiet in the line outs and pre-outs. So here's my desktop amp. And it's quiet. What do you want to use? Yeah, that's fine. I hate you. Alright. Well, it's quiet. So I tried a 12 dB, and that made it way too loud. And I went back to 0, and that's too quiet, so you got to go to 6. So now you're on a 6 dB boost, and you're at full volume on this, because that's how you get it to output to amps and external devices, and that's how you get it to output to headphones using this volume knob properly with full signal. Why this doesn't just plug in, say, USB with no volume? It should have no volume control at all. It should just be, I am now acting as a DAC through this unit. I mean, it says dock, it knows where it is. But it isn't. So now, okay, you're done using this at home. It's time to go out to work. You unplug this. It's at volume 60 with a 6 dB gain bump. And that's going to blow your headphones up. Blow them up good. Blow them up good. So now you've got to come and lower it down. Yeah, change inputs. See, the volume doesn't switch. The volume's still at 50 or whatever I had it at. It doesn't care. So you've got to lower it down manually all the time. And if you want to leave the 6 dB... When I got this, it was on the 12 dB gain. That's probably because of how it... Actually, you didn't have the dock at that point. So, I don't know. Maybe it was really hard to drive headphones. But that sucks. Okay, I got the volume at 30. Plug it in, time to use it. Time to put the volume up to 60 so I could use it. Putting the volume up to 60 now so I could use it. Okay, I can finally use it. Let me reload FooBar so that I can actually get something to work through this. Okay. Oh, my Windows volume's probably down. Hold, please. Yeah, for some reason, it's an old XP machine. I can't blame it. Can't blame it. Right? Why is this affecting the line out volume? Why does this have anything to fucking do with it? There's nothing to do with it. And I've tried plugging headphones into the dock, into this, well, it won't work. So it only works through here. So now... So for some reason, this has to be up all the way, and then it needs a 6 dB bump, and then it can function as a whole. Now you can make it so that this doesn't remember the volume you had it on when you turn it off and on. But if it's on and you unplug it and you plug it into your headphone, you plug it in an auxiliary in your headphone, it's gonna just be at full volume. But it has to be. That's how you get. That's how you get the usable volume out of the pre-outs and line-outs. Now I was asked to demonstrate the that's the line-out, which should just be full, should be full volume, but apparently it is also a pre-out just with this fucking thing acting as a controller. And now this should use this main front. Yes, I'll put that up. Let's see if this affects it. Of course it does. That would be stupid if it didn't affect it. Let's just stack volume control on top of volume control on top of volume control. Does the gain switch affect it? It does. How is that working? So the gain switch also affects... let me see if it affects the line out as well as the pre-out. Whoa! Let's not ground out anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Hope we're learning today. Alright, put this back. Hold on. Alright, so the gain switch doesn't affect the line out. The gain switch affects the pre-out. So if you're using the pre-out, if you have studio monitors and you're running just RCA to TRS connectors on your studio monitors that are built-in amps, and you want to use this to control them, the headphone gain switch on the back affects that. So then you got to have this up all the way. I presume the gain switch in the back high and low. I don't know what the voltage. I don't. It might do maybe like a 2. It can't be a 2 volt. It's got to be some sort of lower number. But it shouldn't. Why would you have a high and low gain switch on a preamp? On a preamp output on this, it makes no sense. So this review is going on very long, very, very long. Best headphone amp I've used. An OK portable amp and OK DAC. Don't buy them together. Get yourself another DAC to power this. And if you're going to buy this on its own, if you need to power headphones on the go, that'll work fine for about 12 hours. So you could buy this, and you could buy this. Don't ever let them touch. Seems like a waste to me. Seems like a waste to put this good a headphone amp on a mediocre DAC. But then again, this is a pretty decent portable headphone amp. So on that merit alone, if you could cut this off, cut off a half inch of this,